There he is. Go
Sorry,
ahead again, Ed.
I don't know what happened. So I just could give an update on the private token sale. We're doing so well that we're having trouble keeping up with the requests. We've closed about $5.4 million. Most of that is in Ether, some in Bitcoin, and some in US dollars. We've got bank wires coming in today, and like I mentioned, we're backlogged. We have at least probably $300,000 of interviews that are coming up, relatively new, and the backlog beyond that is a bit hard to speculate on because there's some very big VC type of conversations that have occurred and that are scheduled to occur, and certainly that are capable of even completing the round with a $15 million max. But we don't know how much of that is ultimately going to come in. I feel really great about our progress thus far. Jacob, did you have a question? You were waving your hand.
Just saying hello. Good job today.
Thank you, Jacob. So that's
what happens to the people who get in the queue before the end of the sale but don't get completed by the end of the sale?
We will process them in the order that they're queuing up, and we'll complete those sales up to a $15 million cap. That may take another week to finish that.
Are you coming to New York tomorrow?
No, I'm going to be appearing via Skype at the PencilWorks Rchain meetup tomorrow evening, New York time. So thanks, Jacob, for that question, and thanks for Nathan for organizing that. That's the main thing I had. I just got off an interview with Ian Bellina, and it was streamed live on YouTube. And he has a lot of followers that typically participate in ICOs. I made it very clear that this is not an ICO; it's a private token sale to members and so forth. But I think we'll get quite a good bump of interest from his audience.
Are the VCs that are talking with you coin VCs? Or are they traditional VCs? Could you share a little bit more context there?
I actually haven't had as many conversations as Greg Heiss and Steve Carriaga has at this phase. I've been on one call that was more of a traditional VC. We've reached out to all the coin VCs, and I don't know if Steve or Greg are on the phone on the call. So it's still a little bit early. As everyone knows, we didn't do a lot of promotion ahead of starting this, and that includes ramping up conversations with the major coin VCs. Rchain is still relatively unknown in the whole crypto landscape, and of course that'll change in the coming months.
Do you think that if you do an ICO at the launch of the platform, will that be done through a US-based company?
This will be
early to know, really.
I don't know, and this is a great topic for the membership. An ICO is
lag again.
Oh, okay.
This is a real question for Evan, but I mean, I'm really interested because there's just so much sort of harsh words against ICOs right now. Obviously, scams need to go, but go ahead, Ed.
Most things are.
Ed, seems like you're back. You want to finish the ICO?
Sorry about that.
No,
I have no idea what's going on with my connection and machine. So this would be a great topic for the membership meeting. But a year from now, a lot's going to change, right? And so I don't know that we need to lock in the plan. The assumption on the financial forecast is that there will be an ICO. But if we can get a commitment from an exchange to list revs at the time of the launch, then the and at that time, Rchain will be a household word, right? Then the co-op could simply sell revs into the exchange as a way of raising money as needed. So I think that's more likely of a path, frankly, because at that point, it will be more clear that revs are for purposes of running the protocol, which of course is not the case with rocks. Rocks don't do much today. But we'll be able, I believe, to sell revs into an exchange at the time of launch.
Cool.
An exchange on Rchain, of course.
Yeah, exchange of Rchain to some other, from or to some other tokens, right, or US dollars, exactly.
Terrific. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
HJ, do you have a member update for us?
Oops. Yeah, actually, we are starting the movement from activist to members and to get rid of the term activist. So the first 10 mails have been sent out to the people who are very close and very involved to us. And each day we will do more batches. And it will be about 100 or 150 people that we are reaching out to. So there was also one question about that because they have already paid a fee of $20. And the question is if the $20 will be reimbursed to them, either in rock, Ether, or Bitcoin. That's a question to you, Ed.
Oh, it's not really a question for me, but for the officers and but it makes sense to me to reimburse for membership, or to just fix it from a database process where we onboard those that have already paid without having to go through the exact same user experience. Is that does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think I can go ahead with it because it's not a lot of people. It's about 40 people or so there. So it's mostly a manual process, and I have their addresses, and I will set up a form in which way they want to be reimbursed for $20.
Well, again, I see that have paid both, that have paid the new membership. I understand. Okay.
Yeah, so they will pay again the $20 in the normal process, and the reimbursement goes separate from that. But that is only valid when people are in Discord, I guess. So that's internal proof that we can provide. I can do that with Ian, and then we go ahead to move from there. That's the update of the members, more or less. Yeah, we are working on other platforms also, like MetaMost, and James Carver is heavily involved in that. And we are working on getting written summaries of videos, for example. So we have a video club looking for solutions for doing that. And there's another like 70 issues that are worked upon. That's it about Meta.
Okay, that's terrific. That was the agenda that I had. I know we're only 20 minutes in the meeting, but I don't have any other agenda items, and we're not done with our sprint yet, so we don't have a demo to share this week. We hopefully will have an engineering demo next week to share with you all. But
can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So Ed, if those VCs want to invest, let's say middle of October, you think that, is the runway kind of open for people who become members? And I assume those VCs have one or two individuals who become members of the co-op. So are they kind of time stamped in, and so they can invest afterwards if they do their due diligence and are excited to contribute to the company?
Yeah, it's important that the sort of the terms of the sale, that we only have sort of one event at a particular time. So we're going to, wrapping up the private token sale event, and then there can be, additional negotiations, even potentially with different terms after that. But so our intent is, let's say one of the VCs that we've been talking with decides to commit, but they have either to assemble their funds, or they have to do some more diligence that's going to take another week. We would consider that as part of this process already, if they've gone through that initial sign up and paperwork. But even, let's say the middle of October comes and we haven't reached that cap of $15 million, that there could still be a separate negotiation happen.
Yeah, and I imagine it could happen, in October. It may happen after some more developments in January. And I guess the terms would be negotiated. So it could be maybe for 15 cents if the fund wants to give 5 million, or it could be for 35 cents. Do you have any kind of input on that?
Well, potentially. I will say that there's a pretty good number of board members that want to wrap up this process and get back to work building the platform. We can do another fundraising event later, 6 months from now. We certainly have enough money to get going. So, I would advocate that we, focus on getting additional great developers on the platform and building it, for example. So this will be probably a spirited debate if we don't reach that cap of 15 million, because there will be interest to do by purchasers to do more. So.
And I guess legally, there's only 75 million or so plus the bonuses coins allowed in the private sale. So you can't really sell it during the private sale terms for less than 20 cents to a mega VC if they come in and try and kind of negotiate better terms. Is that correct?
We wouldn't sell for less than 20 cents. In terms of the supply available, I don't know what that number is off the top of my head.
Okay, thanks on that. I'd appreciate that. Kenny, you have an update for the October 24th meeting?
I do, yeah. Let me share my screen here.
Terrific.
Screen. Okay, can you all see what I've got here?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got this is the very basic draft agenda for the meeting, and the way the day is going to look. We'll likely have other meetings happening in other locations around Seattle on the 24th, but this is for the formal members meeting, which will be kicking off at I think 6 p.m. or so, and so more details about that. But what I wanted to go over in the draft agenda here, so we'll have a bit of a state of the co-op address from Greg. We'll have go over ballot instructions, and we're going to make sure that this agenda, after it does get formalized, goes out to the members ahead of time so that they can come up with how they want to vote, and we'll also have remote voting. So, the things we know are going to be on the agenda: election of directors. So currently, the way the co-op is structured, you had to have board members had to be nominated ahead of time, and these are the current nominees here. So these are the current mostly current existing members, all except for Ed, and then a few more additional potentials here. And the way this is going to work, we have a maximum number of 9 board members. So I think this is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so everyone on this list will pretty much be elected, but the way it will work is there are different terms. So a 3-year term, a 2-year term, and a 1-year term. And then we will rank. We'll come up with the voting method is where you rank. You vote for the one you want the most, and then the second and the third sort of and then those it's called that concordant method. And then that will determine which directors serve for how long. And we'll have more information about that. But we'll also have member committees, and these are important committees. So this is like the executive committees and nominating governance committees and the compensation committees. So what we need for that is we'll want to, if you want to serve on that committee, be thinking about that now, and we'll take in we'll take in interest now ahead of time for those committees, so that we have some, at least, names of members that want to be a part of those committees, and we'll have more instructions around that, like the size of those, and we'll have actual names for the agenda when that's ready, and then some voting items like token governance. This is just sort of an example. We know there's going to be a token governance item on the agenda, so something like maximum numbers in circulation, and have some options. These are just sort of place fillers at the moment, but and then other things like sale to non-members, that sort of thing. Any other voting items can be submitted by the membership, but we need to know that ahead of time. So there's probably a few ways that we can hear about what should be on the ballot. And keep in mind, any proposal needs to be pretty clear, in the sense of it has to be either a yes or no vote, or a list of options. It can't be something like, hey, could we consider doing something? It has to be very specific. So you can post those things on GitHub as an item for voting. We can discuss those on Discord as well, or any other direct channels to get onto this agenda would be much appreciated. But we are taking voting items at this time as well. And I will, after I talk with Evan a little bit more, we'll also share out like a read-only version of this, so people can kind of follow along and see what's going on. Any other questions about the meeting?
I have one question.
Sure.
Is David Curran still associated with Rchain? I see evidence that he was coding up till about March of this year, but then I've never met him. I've never talked to him, and I'm just wondering if he is still associated with Rchain.
He is, yeah.
Okay, great.
I've spoken with him a little bit here and there. He and I also work on MakerDAO as well, so he's definitely still involved, but he's not, I would say, very active. I should also mention, though, that if there are other, actually, all the directors have already been nominated, so I don't think any more. So there's no more director options at this point.
Thank you.
I've also a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the ticket for flying to Seattle gets reimbursed in ROC?
That's definitely a possibility. But we should probably discuss that. That could be I'm wondering if the board can do something like that. Ed, well, how about this, HJ? We'll I'll chat with some of the other board members and see if we can come up with some sort of option about that.
Yeah, thanks for taking up the suggestion.
Terrific. Do we have any other items that we want to chat about today? Bottom of the hour. Going once, going twice?
Well, I've not a question, but maybe I can say a small development in Holland.
Certainly, go ahead.
So what we did locally was to have the possibility for small investors to participate in the private sale. And I'm very happy to mention that we have almost $50,000 in our pocket now. So when we reach that amount, then we will participate also in the private sale. And our representative will then be Kip Blake. So that was it.
Gary, do you want to talk about the social register and the social ledger?
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay, there I go. Yes, we're running a trial over on Mattermost called the social ledger, and I've never seen anything quite as good as this for communication and for organizing projects and for navigating workspaces. So if any of you are interested in learning this social register concept, social ledger is what it's called. It's new to me too. But come over to the Mattermost Rchain site, and we'll get you up to speed pretty quick. It really doesn't take much time. There's just a couple of commands, and then you're off to the races. So keep the social ledger on in the front of your thinking there. I'll answer any questions about it. We may have a demonstration of it tomorrow in the noob group.
Yeah, the social ledger is, the ledger of the things we say and do together. And it corresponds with the Rchain notion of identity. And in the Digital Life Collective, I've been part of the development of this package of this /dig command, which is now in Mattermost. We're hoping to get it onto Discord as well at some point. The Mattermost environment allows us to incorporate with other communities. I can show you quickly here. If in the, oops, wrong one. The social ledger trial and demo, okay, is being done by DibiDAO, who I'm also involved with, and you can participate in the social ledger lab channel. We have the participants right now include DibiDAO, Rchain Co-op, DexStat Hub, Internet of People, Open App Ecosystem, Bring Your Own Identity, Proven Secure Solutions, GiveEth.io, Video Production Group, which is trying to organize to produce the Rchain videos. And then there's some other projects that Synaptocracy and Plurality. You can click on the links here and join. And if you're interested, you can join those communities. And just entering a few commands can help organize the projects. If we look at Rchain right now, you can click the join. And since I'm already a member of Mattermost, it'll take me right into the Mattermost instance, where I can see the different activities going on. Ian set up a Discord bridge where we have a channel that is shared between Discord and Mattermost. Hopefully, eventually, you can use whatever tool you want for communication and communicate with the people you want to commit with. If you look into a particular channel, Patrick set up this channel, this test Mattermost for content development for Rchain. And if we look at /dig members, okay, and this is collectively built. Anybody can type the dig member and add somebody to the team. It's all done on a trust basis, and we try to set up roles of scribe, guide, and scribe for every team, and links to other dependent related activities, and we can set expertise level within the domain, which we have /dig activities, or just /dig A for short. And we can say we have, in this case, we just have some actions. Develop the Rchain dictionary. Okay, and the first thing here is my current commitment to this. I can choose the icon here to represent my level of commitment. I'll give a little more commitment to helping with the dictionary. And this gives us the holonic chart of all the organizations participating in the trial. And I can see that, well, a couple people have committed to activities here. Okay, we have more in the content channel. If we look at the whole of Rchain, which is called community on this chart, we can see there's a lot more activity in the identity and outreach channels, and each channel in Mattermost has a team. Looks like in this particular channel, I'm one of the few participants. We do have more participants in other teams, oops, I can look at the social, at the network of the people involved in the trial and see by the strength of the connections who's working together in the various activities. But it's as simple as you type /dig action is one social object that we support, /dig. And you can put any action relevant to the circle, and you've contributed to the global model of the social objects of the cooperation. And if everybody does a little bit in terms of teams, actions, documents, links, /dig help shows you all the commands and what all the different things mean: delete, archive, sign, and the different kinds of things, the goals, the documents, the links, the actions, the norms, the jobs, and the contracts. And you don't have to know all about it. If you just know a couple of commands, it helps organize the operation. When we put the things to link to the relevant issues in GitHub for participation there, as well as in the Rchain channel, where these things are discussed in in a more general context, where all the various activities are in one place.
Looks really cool.
Yeah, and we have some sponsored bounties available for people who participate. Just basic participation. Would be good for $10 in rocks, and if somebody up to I don't know what the limit will be. It depends on how much we have to spend, but I'm sure that the most active people will be making hundreds of dollars of rock. And this is from external sponsors, but the work that you're doing using the /dig command is Rchain work. It's not work for something else. So you're getting paid, in essence, for participating in the social ledger, as well as your participation in the GitHub issues through Rchain.
Terrific. Thank you. Do we have any other updates we'd like to share? We have 15 minutes left on the clock. Going once, going twice. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today. I hope this was informative. And we will talk with you next week. I expect that Greg will be back for next week's session. So true to form, he's staying off the internet. So happy to see that. Thanks everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.